Afternoon, people. We are back. Feels like I live in the sky at the moment, honestly. So much traveling, which I'm not complaining about, but it will be nice just to stay here for a few weeks. In saying that, I do go up to Scotland tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed. I'm hearing there's a big storm coming, so hopefully it doesn't disrupt my traveling, because I do want to get up there to watch Nathaniel Collins versus Lorente. A good card as well. As you guys know, I was in Nigeria. I'm going to do a separate video about my experience in Nigeria. It was good to be out there. I've seen quite a bit of negative feedback that I do want to address about the event, about the organization of it all. Some justified, some I think a bit too harsh, especially considering it was the first big boxing event Nigeria's maybe ever had. I mean, maybe. I mean, there have been some quote unquote big ones, but in terms of what they tried to do, the scale of the event, I think that was the first. So I do think some of the feedback from people that weren't there on ground, I think it's a bit too harsh. If you were there and you saw some of the things that were going on, fair. If you weren't there, then maybe you should wait for my video and then make up your mind. All right, let's get into things. And let's see what there is to talk about today. Let's start here. Lennox Lewis advises Alexander Usyk to retire on top like he did. Yeah, it's not a bad shout, is it? It's not a bad shout. Alexander Usyk is, I believe, 38. The problem about this is that he looked so good against Daniel Dubois, and there is so much money out there. Like, I'm trying to think of when Lennox would have retired, what was the big fight that was out there that he missed out on? Can't remember. But would he have got the same amount of money that Alexander Usyk is maybe going to get for his next 2 or 3? Maybe. I don't know. There was a lot of money back then in the heavyweight division as well. Certainly not like there is now. Alexander Usyk is getting paid, people. Tyson Fury's getting paid. Even guys floating around the top 10, top 15 are getting paid some good money. So I don't know if Usyk does retire. I would like him to retire as well, just as much as I'd like Crawford to say enough's enough. They've overachieved, like both of their sort of resumes, like first ballot Hall of Famers, all-time greats. Right now, it's almost just bonus time. But if you are Usyk, you can still beat everyone out there. If you are Crawford, you can still beat everyone out there. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Usyk to say enough's enough. But I don't think, I mean, the only one really that's a proper viable opponent that deserves it is Joseph Parker. Anyone else is like, do I really want to see that? I'm not sure. All right, what else is there to talk about? Yanibek Alam Kanali, Arislandi Lara unification bout in play. Okay, when Yanibek was teasing that there's a big announcement, I thought it was Carlos Adames. With all due respect to Yanibek, Lara versus Yanibek's not a big fight for me. Yes, it's a unification fight, but I remember Arislandi Lara. Like, I've been watching this sport long enough to remember when Arislandi Lara was Lara. This version of Lara at what, 41, 42 maybe? I mean, it's a unification fight because Lara's got a belt, but I mean, there are many other middleweights that I think are better than Lara right now. So it's the one instance where I don't think the champion's one of the best in the division. And I hate doing that because, again, look, Lara's had an incredible career, but he's not that guy anymore. So I hoped this was going to be Yanibek versus Carlos Adames. And I'm guessing there was some conversation. There must have been. But yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's the big announcement that we all were expecting. In fact, it's not the big announcement we're all expecting. Brandon Glanton breaks down, stops Marcus Brown in 6. Yeah, obviously that was the main event for Nigeria, chaos in the ring. You know what? I feel sorry for Marcus Brown. It reminds me a bit of Nathan Cleverly. Stick with me. I remember when Nathan was a light heavyweight and then moved up to cruiserweight, and there's just not enough power. There's not enough snap there. Marcus Brown is a massive light heavyweight, but the jump from light heavy to cruiserweight is just too big. 25 pounds is just too big. It's too big. And although he looked good in the first couple of rounds, there was no power or snap to keep Brandon Glanton off. Glanton ultimately just kind of bullied him into submission. So I'm not quite sure what Marcus does. He clearly can't make 175 anymore, and he's probably too small for cruiserweight. So I'm not quite sure what he does. As for Glanton, people know who Glanton is. Glanton's got a bit of a name around him. The Chris Billam-Smith fight wasn't the best, but you know who he is because of that fight. So he might be able to get in the mix somehow. But yeah, big win for him. All right, let's talk Moses Itauma for a few minutes. I was with Moses in Nigeria. Very cool kid. I'm not joking. I need to see a passport. Because I'm around Moses, and I'm like, how are you 20? He has this aura about him, like he's a grown man, wise beyond his years. He does. He walks in, he kind of controls a room, controls a stadium, an arena. When you give him the mic, he just seems to kind of know what to do. I'm like, how are you 20? Honestly. But look, there's a lot of talk about what next for him. Whilst in Nigeria, there was a lot of talk about David ADELEYE or Michael Hunter. It's not going to be ADELEYE. I was with ADELEYE throughout my time in Nigeria. ADELEYE is not fighting Moses Itauma, so I can sort of get rid of that one. That one can be chalked off. Then other name, obviously, Michael Hunter. I don't mind that at all. Michael Hunter, a veteran that brings a lot of experience, still seems good, hasn't taken much damage in his years. Like normally when you get to veteran status, you've taken a lot of beatings, and by the time you fight some of these young guns, you're just done. There's nothing there, right? It's Ferrari, no engine. You look great, but ultimately there's nothing underneath the hood. Michael Hunter has something underneath the hood still. He's still got it. Does he have enough power and speed and accuracy to keep off a young lion like Moses? I don't know, but I don't mind these matchups. I know there will be some, and I get it. Like, well, 1 second, is it not a step back? No, it's not a step back from Dillian Whyte. It's a step up. It's a step up from Dillian Whyte. Is it the big step we want? No, I mean, obviously, look, people were talking about Bacoli and Frank Sanchez. Sometimes you got to take it easy with these kids. Like, for me, as soon as Moses wasn't going to do this Mike Tyson record thing, I was like, okay, let's build him slowly then. If you're not going to break the Mike Tyson record where you've got to fight a killer to get a world title shot, then why rush it? There is absolutely no need to rush. This guy hasn't got rounds in him. Like Dillian Whyte, as you guys know, was over in 2 minutes. Michael Hunter will give him rounds. I wouldn't have been too upset with Jermaine Franklin. I saw my man G-Man do a video saying that that Moses has ducked Frank Sanchez. You don't go to a Frank Sanchez when you're 20. I'm sorry. I don't care if everyone thinks you're the next king. You don't do it. That's stupid matchmaking. Like, if your manager matches you with Frank Sanchez now, when you've not been in there with anyone, I mean, that's just career suicide. Like, why on earth would you go to Frank Sanchez? You don't do it. You get rounds. You get rounds against experienced vets, and that's what he needs right now. Hence, again, why I was saying Jermaine Franklin is just perfect. Jermaine Franklin didn't look good in his last fight, but you get rounds of him. He went rounds against that guy. I think he lost it, but he went rounds. You get rounds with Jermaine Franklin. And then you can compare Moses' performance against Jermaine to Dillian Whyte's performance and to AJ's performance. But yeah, look, back to Michael Hunter. I like it. I think what it does as well is it opens him up to the American market a little bit. Michael's not a big superstar in America. I'm not trying to say he is, but the American fight fans know who Michael is. So if Moses looks good against Michael Hunter, ultimately you get sort of people talking about you in the US. So I'm not mad about him not going the Frank Sanchez route. Like, you know what it is now? Now that I guess I work within boxing, so I don't just sit here and fucking do this all the time, I kind of see what makes sense and what goes on behind the scenes, right? You speak to managers, you speak to people that put on these fights, and there is a plan, there's a route people try to go through. And although Moses has looked incredible, we have to be a bit careful. And I say we as in the fight fans and people around him, because ultimately he's not really beaten anyone yet. Like, if you're being really, like, Dempsey McKean is okay. Dillian Whyte, we know that is coming to the end, right? Dillian would admit that. So you got to be a bit careful. You can't, like, chuck him in with killers yet. There are so many guys out there, and look, you guys might disagree. It'd be nice to hear your reasons for disagreeing in the comment section. But there are so many guys out there in the top 25 who have name value that you can put them in against to get rounds and then we'll see. What I don't want to do, and we haven't got many stars over here, people, got to be careful. What I don't want to do is try and kill off one of our big stars. He potentially could be the next guy. Chisora's gone, one more fight. I don't know what AJ's doing. Fury supposedly is retired. Dillian White's gone. Joe Joyce has come right to the end. Daniel Dubois is there, yes. We haven't got that many heavyweight stars over here, if any, right now. So I'd rather build it carefully with some risks, but not the big risk that people want. That's not how you matchmake. Honestly, the Frank Sanchez fight is just the fuck. You think you do 2 minutes against Dillian White and then put him in with a bit of a boogeyman in Frank Sanchez? There's a reason why everyone's like, nah, fuck. The FA Jack was like, well, one second, I ain't doing that. I don't give a fuck about the IBF. I ain't fighting. People don't want to do that because Frank Sanchez, although, again, maybe someone coming to the end, is still a bit of a problem. And the reward for fighting him is just, you weigh up the risk reward. It's like, what the fuck am I fighting you for, dude? So, no, not yet for Frank Sanchez. Maybe if he blows out Michael Hunter, then maybe you revisit it. But for me, not yet. WBC president welcomes Dana White Zuffa to boxing with background. I don't know what that even means, with background. Well, I don't know if he's welcomed him with open arms, because ultimately Zuffa said, we are not even caring about the belts anymore. Like, we are creating our own Zuffa belt. And I guess the Ring magazine will be there as well somehow. I'm not quite sure about this whole Zuffa boxing thing. I'm not quite sure. Don't get me wrong, I do think the belts at times have just been a complete mess. But you speak to fighters still care about winning the belts. So as much as, bin the belts, throw them away, belts don't do this, too much sanctioning fees, which I agree with, the belts still mean something to people. A Zuffa belt, I'm sorry, it's not going to mean as much as someone winning. I said this, obviously, I don't know if you guys know, but I got in a bit of trouble for saying it, but like, people still want to win the belt that Mike Tyson won, that Muhammad Ali won. It means something. Maybe not as much as it used to, maybe, but it still means something. So it will be interesting to see how this Zuffa boxing works. Right now, I guess it's kind of a prospect building thing, but what happens when that prospect sort of crosses the line from being a prospect to someone that is now right there to fight for a world title? Does he now then partner with Zuffa to fight for one of the big belts? I still think there are a lot of questions to be answered, is what I'm getting at. Carl Frampton, what I do for a living now doesn't feel like work. Yeah, dude, because when you were fighting, you were working. Like, I love Carl. Great guy. Honestly, when you speak to some of these retired fighters, they're incredible people. Like, I don't know if they realize that they're superstars. Like, sometimes, we're having dinner or we're just going for a walk and I'm like, fucking hell, I'm chilling with Carl Frampton, Darren Barker, Tony Bellew, Barry Jones. It kind of blows my mind. I used to watch these guys and now I'm kind of chilling with them. But Carl was one of the best to ever do it from these shores. I say these shores, obviously including Ireland. I think he was just sensational. Like, what year was he voted Fight of the Year? Do you know, like, ain't nobody just randomly getting that. That's how good Carl was. But yeah, what he does now isn't work compared to that, but it still is work. But he just loves it. He's just talking boxing. Ultimately, he's just talking boxing for 20 minutes with me on stage. We're throwing it to comms, comes back to us. We have a laugh, chill out. It's just fun. Honestly, it is fun. I don't consider it work either. I will say this, having worked a normal, proper job, it's an incredible job, and I feel very, very fortunate and lucky. Anything else to talk about? I did see something the other day about Manny Pacquiao fighting Rolly Romero. This is the worst thing that could have happened, that fight against, I forgot his name now, Mario Barrios. Like, Barrios, you had an opportunity to kind of just end all this crap. And because you didn't, well, ultimately, because you got the result and you maybe shouldn't have, now Pacquiao's thinking he can stay on and continue. Problem is, Rolly Romero can hit. I don't know, man. I just find it all boring, to be honest with you. Subriel Matias, Dalton Smith, eyed for January 10th in New York, New Jersey. Yeah, but I'm hearing potentially that could go on a Riyadh season card. So initially it was Subriel Matias's team that won the purse bids. I'm thinking now that there is talks of this Riyadh season card and it will go on that. I thought, too ambitious for it to go on the November 22nd card. Remember, that was the plan initially, to go on the card headlined by Benavidez versus Yard. far too ambitious. I was there for Matias's fight against Alberto Puello. It was a war. A war. You can't turn around that kick quick. It's killing off fighters. I was thinking, what? He's going to turn around that quick. When was that card? Was it August? Was it August? Back in July, August? And you want to fight again after that in November? So basically, you rest for 3 weeks, then get straight into fight camp? No, fuck that. You need to rest the body, my man. You need to rest the body. That card, that January 10th card, hearing that there's a good chance Callum Smith fights David Morrell. God. Morrell doesn't get a rest, does he? Fucking hell, man. That boy needs to fight someone that's not a killer. Like, he needs a gimme. Like, I love David Morrell. I feel like we're killing him off. Another one that we're just killing off. He needs... Look, we want to see tough fights. But there's still a way. There still is a science to build fighters. There still is. And I think Morrell is a bit of a superstar. And now you're about to chuck him in with Callum Smith, who himself's come off a war with Joshua Buatsi. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting soft at my old age. All right, guys, girls. That's it. We're done. Quick video. Peace and love.